Welcome back to WheatFieldsToWonderland's audio link portion of my blog. This week, I have a story for you called Sudden iPhone Death Syndrome. Okay? And as a side note, please don't try to recreate this story at home. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Sudden iPhone Death Syndrome. My iPhone is attached to my hip, literally. I mean, if I don't have it swinging in my hand as I walk, it is in my handbag. It's just about hip level. It's the last thing I look at before I go to bed at night and the first thing I check in the morning while sipping my cup of coffee. I love my iPhone and consider it one of my life necessities. So you can imagine on a lonely Saturday night when I feared the worst had happened, that my trusty iPhone / portable computer / camera / watch / Rolodex of friends whose numbers I don't know as iPhone knows them for me / phone appeared to have fallen to its death, that a horrible, sickening panic struck me. How did the horror happen, you ask? Well, you see, last Saturday night when my friend came down with strep throat at the last minute, I suddenly became planless. So in an effort not to blow my Saturday night, and also to not completely waste my $40 blowout, I decided to shoot a video for my blog. It was an exceptionally warm winter California night, so I chose to shoot it on my patio. Looking for the best angle to optimize the image, the image being me, I decided that I needed to have my iPhone placed as high as it could be. Every girl knows that when you take a picture from a high angle that you look your absolute skinniest. Trust me, try it. And I decided that a skinny Janelle image was exactly what this video blog was going to need. So at 9 p.m. and pitch black outside, I turned on my outside light and with some heavy masking tape, I proceeded to secure my iPhone to the stucco wall, placing it as high as I could possibly reach. When the iPhone was taped in position, and when my patio chair was placed at its perfect angle, I turned the camera to video, made sure the flash was on, and hit the 10-second delay so I would have just enough time to turn around and position myself for my first take. I hadn't even got back to the chair when I heard the sound of tape ripping off the stucco. As I turned around to run back to the wall, the last bit of tape gave away as I watched as my precious iPhone fell to the ground. And then somehow, it must have been the height and the force of the fall, it continued its trajectory to the left and slipped off my balcony, falling 4 flights to the ground. Yeah, I thought I was going to puke. I looked over the rail of my balcony and I saw my precious iPhone on the neighboring property walkway. I knew at this moment that my iPhone's chances of survival were minimal, to say the least. So I threw on my flip-flops and ran down 4 flights of stairs as quickly as I could. Finally outside, I stood on the other side of my phone as a large metal gate about 10 feet tall was standing in my way. There was only one thing I could do. I took a deep breath and proceeded to scale the gate, wishing the whole time I wasn't in shorts and wearing slippery flip-flops. You know, I think I had one of those amaze-ball moments when somehow you are able to do something that you truly didn't think you were capable of doing. On any given day, if anyone would have shown you the gate and the prickly hedge that ran the length of the separating wall between the 2 buildings, you would have thought it impossible to scale. My superhuman strength was in full play this night, as this beast of a girl somehow managed to climb the gate, hoist my legs over the top, yet scratching the shit out of them in the process, and jump over the 10-foot-tall gate, landing squarely on my flip-flops. As I held my breath, I picked up my iPhone. You can imagine my surprise to see that there wasn't even a crack in the glass. And upon first glance, it appeared to be working. I truly could not believe my luck and sent out a few texts, emails, and made a call just to make sure that everything was as it should be. I felt as lucky as if I'd won the lottery that night, and was grateful that I had purchased an expensive cell phone case, as clearly it was the one thing that saved my phone. 2 nights later, however, when I was at a party, my iPhone's flash didn't work, and I couldn't figure it out. The following morning at work, when I took the case off, I noticed that the screen had popped out on the side of the phone, and upon closer inspection, my iPhone's frame was bent all to hell. I guess I had been so relieved that it was in one piece, I didn't think to take off the protective case to check out the phone. Okay, so now I was back to that sick feeling in the pit of my stomach. A work colleague suggested I try calling the Mac store to make an appointment to bring my iPhone in. After 42 minutes on hold, I was finally able to get an appointment to see a Mac specialist in 2 days. And fearing my iPhone wouldn't last 2 days, I decided to Google iPhone repair on the internet and found a place ironically called LA iPhone Repair. I frantically called the number and spoke to a man named Eli, who reassured me that everything was fixable. Feeling somewhat hopeful, I could barely wait until the end of the day so I could take it in after work and show him my phone, praying that he was indeed an iPhone doctor and save my baby. I had a dentist appointment at the end of the day, so on my way to the appointment, I dropped off the phone with Eli and hoped that he truly was a miracle worker. But now at the dentist, seated in the waiting room, I went to pull out my iPhone to check my emails and remembered that I was iPhone free. Even though I just dropped off the phone, my brain was on auto drive as my iPhone was such a part of my life that playing with my phone was a habit, like smoking, one that is actually uncontrollable. I felt naked. I felt uncomfortable. I felt unsafe and actually nervous without my iPhone. What would happen if there was an earthquake at this moment and I didn't have my phone? How would I know the time without my phone? God forbid I should lose track of time and not make it back to the iPhone repair store and yuck in time and yikes have to live without my iPhone for the entire night. At this point, panic started to set in, and I kept asking the dentist the time to the point that I was driving her actually nuts. Finally, my teeth were deemed clean and healthy, and I was in my car headed back to the LA iPhone repair shop. Eli informed me that I needed a part, and he would order it, and it would only cost me $40 to fix my phone. I couldn't believe it. Plus, on top of that, he had popped back in the screen and straightened out my frame, and my phone looked perfect. I went home happy, and he didn't charge me a dime for the work he had done. 4 days later, the part arrived, and I cheerily dropped off my iPhone. Eli said to come back in 3 hours. Unfortunately for me, when I returned to the store, I received bad news from Eli, the iPhone doctor. He said something was wrong with the motherboard, and all he was able to fix was a low-beam flashlight. The high beam was not working, and he said it would be very expensive to fix. I would need to replace the phone or send it back to have it fixed, as I had insurance on the phone. I was disappointed, although it was still working better than before, and once again Eli, even though he'd spent hours working on my phone, refused payment from me. His policy is that if he can't fix your phone, he doesn't charge. Even when I offered, as he spent time and had improved my phone, he wouldn't take my money. You know, in a city the size of Los Angeles, it's nice to know there are still good, honest people out there. At the end of the day, a week after this iPhone tragedy had initially occurred, I was grateful that I paid for insurance and filed a claim to have my iPhone replaced. At least my phone was still working, and getting a refurbished phone, although not ideal, is still better than no iPhone at all. The week of worry have put things in perspective, and truthfully, I think we should always try to find the silver lining in every cloud, and be grateful when things are actually within our realm to somewhat easily deal with. So the moral of this iPhone story is, 1. Get the expensive case. Trust me, it's worth every penny you spend. 2, oh my God, we are so much more addicted to our devices than most of us even realize. And 3, and lastly, I think my days of dangerous outdoor photography will not be an option for my new iPhone, as this girl has learned her lesson. Well, on that note, I wish you all a wonderful week, and I will put in some outtakes at the end of this video blog for you guys to look at my sad, pathetic, silly, dumbass move of taping a damn phone to a stucco wall and thinking it'll stick. I mean, who does that? Me. I did that. I do dumb things like that all the time. So I hope you learned from my mistake. Of course, you're probably saying, I would never do something so stupid as that in the beginning, Janelle. And that's okay. I have to live with the fact that I made a mistake. But you know what? That's what life's about. Okay, everybody, have a great week. And I hope I made you laugh. Big hug to y'all. Ciao for now. Remember, Life is good. Find the silver lining in every cloud.